Hey everyone, Freddie Michaels from The Heart of Critic, where we do not so deep dives into movies. Today we have 2017's remake of the overrated classic It, directed by Andres Muschietti and written by the Stephen King. But before we get into the overall synopsis, review, and rating, please like, share, and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's get into it. Simply put, It remake is the best remake of any horror movie and probably of all time. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. By changing one thing, the director was able to establish true fear that didn't exist in the very flawed original classic horror movie, which was not involving or mentioning the fact that these kids survive. Again, it will zap the fear right out of a movie. I don't know why directors insist on doing this, but they seriously need to stop showing the ending in the beginning of a horror movie. Outside of what was done to Mike, every minute and major detail about this film, including what it leaves out and or changes from the bizarre moments in the book and completely overrated classic, is perfection. Georgie's death, for example, being one of them. If you're someone with claustrophobia, then brace yourself, because It, if you've been living under a rock or a youngster, is about a shape-shifting clown that feeds off of anger, hate, and fear, and can influence and possess the minds of others in what seems like demonic alien necromancy. But what kind of review would this be if I remain so tongue-in-cheek? Let's begin our synopsis here. The movie begins in 1988 in the fictional town Derry, Maine, where youths have been going missing at an alarming rate. On one rainy afternoon, Bill makes a sailboat for his younger brother Georgie, and after his boat goes down a storm drain, we meet our iconic clown Pennywise, who bites Georgie's arm off and drags his ass into the sewer. With the writer/director centralizing the story around youths, the fear is immediately established with this scene, showing that the monster has no remorse for children. In fact, it adds a predatory nature around it because hunting the easier kill makes the murderers feel more heartless and animalistic. So anyway, 1 year later, the crew Bill, Richie, Eddie, Stan, and Ben all journey out to find where Georgie could be after researching a plethora of unsolved murders and abductions, all linked to the sewer system. And it's here the town bully Eddie Bowers and his gang, looking for Ben and the Barons, then suffer a tragedy to the murderous It, before the soon-to-be losers would add Beverly, an abused and bullied girl who Bill and Ben have a crush on, and Mike, who is basically the token black boy instead of his actual character. Oh my gosh, I don't know why they keep playing with my nick. Anyway, the movie does a very lazy wash, rinse, and repeat of each of the members of the now-titled Losers Club running with the clown, with just some sick jump scares and imagery to show that each of them are being targeted by it. The losers realize this clown is fueled by the fears of its prey and haunts what it can overcome and break mentally, which is primarily children that it finds by traversing the sewage system connected to an abandoned house. Being dumbass kids, they go to confront the demon, alien, necromancing, very successful, kid-killing clown, and are immediately picked apart and separated, scared shitless, in one of the best modern displays of horror in the newer age. And though they defeat it thanks to Beverly and some wicked aggro by Eddie, the losers have a meltdown that potentially ends the group, leaving it fractured to just Bill and Beverly. Weeks would pass before Beverly decides to renew her bonds. Wait, what? Steven, we're watching you, dog. So anyway, on to the not-so-better part of the movie, I guess. Beverly is chased around the apartment by her touchy father before knocking him out, only to be immediately captured by it. The losers get back together to get Beverly in return to run the ones with it, but soon find out that Eddie Bowers has been put under the monster's possession and was influenced to murder his own father. In a kill-or-be-killed situation, Mike nearly disconnects Eddie's router permanently by gently moving his body south of the walls of the entry point. So, after potential manslaughter with the heinous intent, these kids go deeper into the sewer system to find Pennywise's lair, which resembles a circus discarded that's just covered with all of the monster's floating victims. The losers find Beverly impassive from seeing the light by it before the demonic, shape-shifting alien necromancer clown pops up, which forces the losers to do what the Z-Warriors should have done to Cell, but I digress. The monster, weakened by the onslaught of these juveniles and the fact that they've overcome their fears of it, goes deeper into the sewers to hibernate, where these losers, for some dumb reason, think that it'll fucking starve. If that was the end of the movie, I'd shave 2 points, but this movie is outstanding and follows all 3 of my horror movie rules to a T. Specifically, sticking the landing, i.e. ending the movie well. Bill then finds his brother Georgie's raincoat and closes that vicious cycle of grief and bereavement by letting it out as his gang of losers all console him. We're taken to the end of summer, where Beverly makes mention of a premonition years down the line, of the losers once again facing it. They make a promise to return and set off on their separate paths, but not before Bill would confess his feelings for Beverly and share a kiss. So, what are the pros? You could feel that they passionately went in with the idea to make this remake beloved and accepted to a newer audience. This was done with love and care and executed with precision. The Losers Club, all of the kids have good moments and are fleshed out in ways that not only helps develop the plot but moves the story along. It's been 8 years since this movie, and honestly, it's aged flawlessly. It really feels like it came out yesterday. I can tell already that this film is going to age 20 years like wine, and that's shown by the continuation of the franchise. Not only is it the remake that horror fans both needed and deserved, it is also a remake that the classic drastically needed, so we never have to revisit the old film and its shortcomings again. This remake deviates from the original clown design perfectly to a design that visually establishes that Pennywise isn't human. And while on the topic of Pennywise, Bill Skarsgård is transformative in this role. He really becomes the clown monster and objectively is better at displaying the weakened side of it than Tim was, which to me puts him well over Tim Curry's. So, what are the cons? Well, the child actor for Stan does feel flat and separate from the losers. There's a bit of an overuse with the CGI. I would have loved to see what the team could have done with more practical effects in this day and age. And objectively, there's a cyclical nature about the film, i.e. Child goes away from the group, Child runs into the clown, wash, rinse, repeat. Mike being written out of the story is bothersome mainly because he's replaced by Ben. It is a bit of a Stranger Things going on with this remake. Not only do some of the kids' dialogue sound like it was written for children today, they sound like adults with potty mouths. And there's a felt separation of the Losers Club in this film, which makes the crew lack togetherness, specifically with the cyclical nature it has. In closure, It 2017 is exactly how you do a remake. Taking the movie from the 50s to the 80s in an attempt to modernize the franchise was a very intelligent strategy to bridge both fans of this timeless novel together. Bill Skarsgård, to me, is Pennywise. He's better than Tim Curry by a mile, and that's because as acting goes on, there's certain thematic nuances that actors are able to establish on screen today that weren't commonplace before. This remake is goated simply because it is a remake that was needed. It reestablished fear perfectly, set the franchise up for part 2, and breathed life into a franchise that we always wanted to see get a fair shot. And with all of that being said, I'll leave this video with a quote from the classic itself. Adults are the real monsters, everything's a lot tougher when it's for real, and home is the place where when you go there, you have to finally face the thing in the dark. 2017's It is a 9 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment of what you thought about the video or any movie that you would like to see me review next. As always, be well, and I'll see you soon.